All right,
That's
we're
crazy.
live.
All
All right,
right.
welcome everybody to another episode of Achieve 10X TV. And this is another interview where we are interviewing local people who are helping our local community. And my name is Jimmy Yin. I'm a licensed acupuncturist. Hold on, let me check this out first. Licensed acupuncturist, nutritionist, and herbalist. And I'm super excited to have Allan Hsu. How do you say it in Chinese? Your last name?
Usually you say "shu" as the
Hsu?
easiest way
Okay.
in English. Yeah. Technically, it's like "shu," but that's
Yeah. Okay.
complicated.
So, Allan, welcome. Allan's Allan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Allan. I'm a California native, so I'm one of those, and I moved here to Austin, Texas, back in 2012, and I am by trade I am a dentist. So I've been practicing dentistry since 2008, so that's about 12 years. I graduated at UC San Francisco back in 2008, practiced there for a few years, opened a couple practices, and then saw the landscape there kind of getting a little crazy in terms of costs and just taxes, things like that. So in 2012, I essentially like Googled, where's the fastest growing city in America, and it was Austin. So
Yep.
that's how I ended up here.
So you also, being a dentist, you also own a couple of restaurants here in Austin. So what's been going on with your restaurants, especially during this pandemic?
Yeah, so I have a total of 4 restaurants operating. Um, it's the it's okay. So our main one is called 101, and it's more or less like a Asian fusion restaurant that is done presented in it's kind of a westernized sense. Little not upscale, it's fast casual, but it's just we try to package things in certain ways so that we can become more mainstream. So yeah, I mean, COVID, it definitely took its toll. We were on a very good trajectory prior to essentially April,
Yeah.
and until it mandated that all the restaurants had to close.
Yeah.
So that was a big hit. And coincidentally, we opened 2 new restaurants at River Place, like where 2222 and 620,
Yeah.
where they intersect. Like we opened a tea house and a poke restaurant there. And as soon as we opened, it's like we had to close right away. So unfortunately, we had bad timing on that for sure.
Yeah. No one could have predicted that.
Yeah.
But what are tea house is the Asian fusion, and what about the poke? Let people know, 'cause not everybody knows what that is.
Oh, poke. So poke, I mean, traditionally, it's generally considered from Hawaii, and because obviously the fish over there is caught fresh. They chop it up, they eat it with rice. They usually marinate the fish, and it's just straight. You eat it right there, and it's the best for sure. And in the past, maybe 5 years or so, 5 6 years, it has slowly crept into the mainland and into the mainstream like consciousness of America. So you see poke restaurants everywhere now, and the way that poke restaurants are done in the States is obviously you can't just catch a live fish and eat it. So sushi grade fish has to be processed a very specific way,
Yeah.
and a lot of them have to be like flash frozen to a certain temperature for X amount of time, so all the bacteria and things like that can get killed. So in the States, the way you generally will see poke done is almost like Chipotle, where you pick your base, your protein, if you want salad versus rice, and then you pick your toppings. So it's all fresh, like cucumbers or tomato, and there's usually a different sauce associated, like a classic ahi like poke sauce, which is normally it's like some sort of soy sauce, sesame oil, things like that. Or different restaurants, I guess they separate themselves by being creative with their sauces and obviously choices. And there's some experimental things going on.
Yeah.
They have like a poke rito, which is kind of like a poke
Burrito.
sushi burrito. You can almost imagine. Yeah, so that's what poke is, and that's how it's done here. It more or less aligns with healthier eating
Yeah.
styles, right? So everything is fresh and has to be, and yeah, so it's healthy eating and it's good for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely. I definitely like to eat it. It's almost like if you go to a Japanese restaurant, it's like a chirashi almost,
Hmm.
like sushi on top of a
Exactly. Yeah,
rice, right?
I make that analogy all the time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so do y'all offer, since do y'all offer, I know some offer like not just white rice, but like brown rice. Do y'all do that?
Yeah, brown rice. We in the before COVID, we were offering quinoa as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and kale. We had a kale base. Yeah, so there's essentially a lot of different options that you can do.
Sweet. So it's like a kind of a Hawaiian fast food, but healthy,
Yeah,
right?
basically. Yeah, it's like sushi in a bowl in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it sometimes. It's like you make your own sushi bowl. Yeah, chirashi. That's good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
And I know you said, the tea house is more like Asian fusion. Like what, some people may not know what that is. So what is Asian fusion?
Asian fusion. So fusion, is combining two things together, right? So Asian fusion is kind of, I think of it as like traditional Asian foods that is presented in a westernized way or palette. So immediately the most popular ones that you probably would think about is like Panda Express,
Yeah.
or locally you may think of like cilantro. It's like Korean, and they do tacos and burritos and bowls, right? So that's kind of fusiony. Yeah. So with 101 and Tea House, my background is Taiwanese, and my partners are, it's either Taiwanese and Korean, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at our menu, it's completely non-conventional menu. It just has a little bit of everything, and yeah, and it a lot of it is yeah, Taiwanese or Korean, yeah, based.
So what are some of what are your, like the favorites that you've seen that most people, very popular dishes?
Yeah, so popular dishes prior to this whole thing, the
Yeah.
pandemic, would be like our beef noodle soup, which is Taiwan's like national noodle
Yeah.
dish. Yeah, there's a million ways to make it, and everyone claims like it's that theirs is the best.
Yeah.
But it's super popular. It's a soy-based broth. Usually, soy and sugar is like the linchpin to most Chinese cooking,
Okay.
and soy, rock sugar, like that's the base to a lot of things, and certain wines. But yeah, beef noodles. We usually use traditionally is used with shank, which is not a common part of the cow that typically would eat in the States.
Yeah.
But if you braise it long enough, everything breaks down, and therefore, the soup usually it takes a long time to braise, between 6 to like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And that's how you get like that really rich gelatinous like broth, which is really good. Other things would be our pork belly, so it's also very traditional, like hong sao ro. So it's red braised pork belly. Takes it's similar. It takes a long time to render all the good stuff to
Yeah.
make it taste, a certain way. You eat that with rice. And
Yeah.
obviously Korean barbecue is something that we have over like so the fusion part would be like Asian, like a Korean barbecue over, tots, right?
Yeah.
Like tater tots and
Yeah.
cheese and things like that. So that makes it kind of fusiony. So palate wise, you can't go wrong. It's incredibly flavorful, and like, and what tots are, so it's it's good.
Yeah. So you got one that's not necessarily, is more like the flavorful, not necessarily super healthy, and then you got restaurants that are more on the healthy side. You got to make a little bit of both.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't make the claim that it's I mean, I don't want to say it's unhealthy. Everything is natural,
Yeah.
but as far as what we put, it tastes good.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Well, definitely, I like to cheat when I and go and have so I know what those taste like.
Yeah.
So during this pandemic, I mean, obviously restaurants had to shut down. So how did y'all cope with that?
Um, I mean, yeah, for sure. Initially, the first 2 weeks is complete uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like I would say, we mostly thought it's either everything is complete, all the variables are completely unpredictable, like how long it's going to last, if it will ever come back to normal, right? So those are all things that we still are thinking about. So every restaurant, essentially, you can't, you're closed for dining 100%. Like there's just, it's, you can't have people come in. So we essentially switched to a carry out and delivery model. And as far as delivery is concerned, luckily there's a lot of delivery services out there like Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. There's a ton of them. Unfortunately, the issue with those is that they take such a large cut, usually between 20 to 30%.
Wow.
Of your of your sales, and so that's a pretty steep haircut.
Yeah.
Carry out is good, but people are skittish, especially in Austin. I kind of have noticed that it's very black and white. Half the population is like, oh, I don't care, it's no big deal. I'll do carry on as normal, which is cool. And also there's the other half, which is complete, like lockdown, and I don't want to, be exposed at all, which is cool too. Yeah. So I'm not in any particular camp. I don't think any's right or wrong. I just think right now there's just too many unknowns that we have to kind of navigate through. But after the first couple weeks, I think the craziest thing is just the outpour in like community. I think that it's probably, America in general. I think their nature is very supportive, like neighborly. I believe that personally. And Austin especially probably is like that, just has that really strong community feel, because after the first week, you start to see a lot of programs and benefits and donations and things like that to help each other out, like what you're doing to promote, local businesses. We've had a lot of opportunity to feed like hospital workers. We did that we have 4 times where we made meals for, frontline workers. And it's all through donations, like people donate to different organizations, and then they like link up with different restaurants to provide these meals. Yeah. So it's been really crazy, and it's eye-opening. The outlook, it looks okay right now.
Yeah.
But because Texas starting this week essentially is like slowly opening up. Like for example, restaurants were allowed to have 25% occupancy right now. Yeah, but anyone knows, restaurant margins, let's say, is slim to none, less than 10%, and you can only allow 25% to come in to eat.
Yeah.
Any restaurant that's not geared towards to go or carry out, like all those fine dining restaurants, I really feel like that's going to be tricky, because there's no way to operate. There's no way.
Yeah. So are y'all, I don't own a restaurant, so I have no idea, but I would be thinking if I'm opening 25%, it's almost not worth it to open 25% because of the cost to provide service for that 25%.
Yeah.
Are y'all
exactly? So yeah, that's why you kind of keep in, for me at least, I keep in mind the options, right? There's essentially three paths that might end up happening. One is it stays like there, it's a perpetual thing where, everyone, it's like a really bad, like a influenza virus that is really deadly, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get rid of it because we can't get rid of the flu. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
And so it might be like that, but extremely deadly, in which case it just transforms, the industry and the world at large, really, like forever. Yeah. And in that case, there's no sustainable model to do that. But in that case, food will probably change as an industry in general.
Yeah.
Like I would imagine a company like Amazon would just get this humongous kitchen with every cuisine known to man and just drone, all your deliveries everywhere. That's probably what that will look like. But if we can see any sort of resemblance back to normalcy, then maybe, if people can at half capacity, prices would have to change, and the technology that we use and moving forward, a lot of it would have to be very adaptive. You can't operate, like I said, margins at 10%, 5 to 10%, it's not feasible. Like you can't cut your business by half and still
Yeah.
survive. Yeah. So I think the worst, like the effects will probably show up soon.
Yeah.
It has not, it's definitely not here yet.
Yeah.
You know, because the government's still supporting a lot of, you know, the workers. That's another thing. It's really hard to, especially in dental. I noticed like it's really hard to hire people right now
Yeah.
because most of the staff, I mean, they make more money on unemployment than
Yeah.
they do working. You know, and
Yeah.
why not just not work and make money? Right?
So you mentioned that your poke was actually donating, to what you were feeding, the frontline health workers. It's
Mhm.
out of a donation. Is that program still running? And how
Yeah.
do people get involved?
Um, Getting involved, there's so many outlets. So for us, there were probably there we had multiple channels. Like some were just individuals that like bloggers or whoever
Yeah.
that set it up.
Yeah.
So for example, the one that we are doing, so we have, okay, so tomorrow at Poke, we're feeding 100 hospitality, so not hospital, hospitality workers.
Yeah.
So like, server people that used to work in restaurants, hotels that have lost their jobs. So
Okay.
between the times of 5 to 7, you can
Uh-huh.
sign up if you fall into that camp, like you're currently jobless and used to work in hospitality. It's called 100 hospitality. I'll have to look it up, but
Okay.
it's a program that Jane Ko, who's a really influential blogger in Austin, she set it up, and for 40 days she has different restaurants, essentially preparing 100 meals
Oh wow.
for these people. So I mean that's really good. And coincidentally, tomorrow at 101 we're feeding the hospital workers. We're preparing 50 meals for them.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as participation, I mean, we don't, it's not like it's anything that we, like do ourselves to go out there. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, like we do offer that same meal, but as far as where to donate and things like that, I mean, there's a lot of different like good organizations just to find a cause or whatever you feel like it's good. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll share. I want to share. I mean, we're at YouTube right now, but I'll share this YouTube on Facebook. If you can
Okay.
post this, so
Yeah.
other people can get involved. I mean, it
Mhm.
doesn't. I mean, some people want to help, but like you said, half of the people may be scared to leave their house. So maybe they can help by just donating, money to help
Yeah.
support, some of these people. So at least get you the supplies, the food costs, because it costs you money to
Hmm.
provide these.
Yeah. Oh, so the ones that we work with, one is called ATX Hospital Meals.
ATX hospitals. Okay.
Yeah. So I think they have a website. And then the other one is called hashtag 100 for hospitality.
Okay.
I think that's a website as well. So those are the two that we have done multiple events for.
Yeah.
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah. But there have been others. Like today we did another, one of our friends who's a nurse, she she basically purchased like 20 meals for her fellow worker. So just things like that, like everyone,
Yeah.
I feel like as if they're capable, they have really been trying to help everyone out, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So where are I know you said two of your new restaurants are in River Place. If you can let the audience know where your other two are also. You have four
Yeah.
restaurants.
So we have one more poke. It's called Miso Poke, and it's on Palmer and Metric in that plaza. Um, it's 1700 West Palmer Lane Road. And then 101, which is our Asian fusion restaurant, it has a bar as well. So it's, and we do like live, what we used to do, live karaoke there every Saturday night. So it's very community. A lot of us, just kind of hang out. There's a really good hangout spot, very casual. And that is on Airport and Lamar. So Airport Boulevard, it's where the 99 Ranch like supermarket is, and Kura, which is like that sushi place. Yeah, so that plaza I mean, as of right now, a lot of new restaurants are opening up in that plaza. So I'm very
Yeah.
curious to see like how how everything plays out. It's just going to be crazy.
So all 4 of your restaurants are open right now for takeout, right?
No, right now it's just 101 and the Poke restaurant at on Palmer. The 22 the River Place
Uh-huh.
restaurants are currently closed just because we didn't have time to market. So and staffing was incredibly difficult over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, right now we're hoping to open that maybe in two weeks, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, Allan, any last words you want to share about your restaurants or the situation? Any last words?
Last words. I mean, nothing personal. I just, hopefully everyone is being safe.
Yeah.
As a, as someone in healthcare, like I see patients, and I know like it's really difficult, because we're so used to answers on like on the spot.
Yeah.
But right now, I think if you want any opinion, it's out there. There's no for sure right way to do anything,
Yeah.
and things are changing every single week. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but when COVID first occurred, they were telling people not to wear masks.
Yeah.
And which is almost unthinkable at this time.
Yeah.
So it's uncertain, but I think the good thing is in times of like trouble, like people kind of come together. There's more community, and they realize like the things that do matter. What matters will, the things that really matter. And I think, yeah, humanity, it's probably good for a lot of people. That obviously is not good, but it's good in a sense that community and things like that, people are like coming together a little bit more, which is promising. So hopefully everyone stay safe out there. Try your best to think about others, and yeah, and then I think we'll be okay, hopefully.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, so definitely thank you for feeding, some of these, being part of this ATX hospital meals and hundreds for hospitality. If everybody does just a little, then we can actually support our local community, and we can thrive through this. I don't like to, say get through this. I want to thrive through this.
Yeah,
That's why I do
that's
these
yeah,
interviews.
that's
We
good.
need to thrive. We don't want to stay the same. We want to get better. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Allan, I appreciate your time.
Yeah. And
And
thank you too, Jimmy. Yeah,
yeah,
I see you on Facebook all the time. I'm always like, man, this guy's hustling hard
yeah,
and he's doing good job and he's really awesome reputation. Like it's I'm sure all your audience, everyone knows already. So yeah, and
I
thank you
appreciate
too
that.
for helping promoting local businesses and the good word.
Yep. So make sure when I share it on Facebook, I'll tag you, and then make sure you share your restaurant locations that are open,
Uh-huh.
so that people can reach out and support you also.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do.
All right. Thanks,
All
Allan.
right. All right. Safe out there.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. See ya.